The New England Patriots owner just fired reigning coach of the year, Mike Vrabel, live during the NFL draft. And fans are completely losing it. This all comes right after those damaging photos of Vrabel surfaced on page 6. So what exactly was in those images, and what does this mean for the future of the Patriots? On April 7, 2026, the New York Post's page 6 dropped a bomb. Photos were published showing Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel and longtime NFL reporter Dianna Russini together at the Ambiente Hotel in Sedona, Arizona on March 28th. The images showed the two holding hands, embracing, and sitting in a pool and a hot tub. Both Vrabel and Russini are married to other people. The Ambiente Sedona is an adults-only hotel nestled in Arizona's Red Rocks, a 2-hour drive north from Phoenix, where the NFL held its annual league meetings March 29th to April 1. So this wasn't at the league meetings themselves. This was a separate private location. Before the meetings even started, when the Post reached out for comment before publishing, both parties downplayed the images. In his statement at the time, Vrabel said, "These photos show a completely innocent interaction, and any suggestion otherwise is laughable. This doesn't deserve any further response." Russini also downplayed the photos, telling the Post, "Like most journalists in the NFL, reporters interact with sources away from stadiums and other venues. That was it. Laughable. Innocent. Move along. Nothing to see here." But the internet does not move along, and neither did the story. Russini appealed directly to the New York Times Company CEO Meredith Kopit Levien to plead her case, and also coordinated with Vrabel about how to respond to the Post. Russini and Vrabel, who are both married to other people, told the Post that the photos didn't accurately reflect their interaction. The Athletic initially defended Russini publicly, but subsequently faced internal outrage from employees. Then the situation deteriorated. Russini resigned on April 14th amid an investigation into her conduct. That same day, the Athletic's executive editor said new questions were raised when the outlet, which is owned by the New York Times, uncovered additional information. This wasn't a story that was going away. Not for Russini, and not for Vrabel. Now, to understand why this rattled the Patriots organization so deeply, you have to understand who Mike Vrabel was to this franchise before any of this happened. Mike Vrabel was introduced by Patriots chairman and CEO Robert Kraft as the 16th head coach in franchise history in a press conference at Gillette Stadium on January 13, 2025. Vrabel is a 3-time Super Bowl champion with New England and was voted into the Patriots Hall of Fame in 2023. This wasn't some outside hire, this was a returning hero. The team had gone 4-13 in 2024 for the second straight season and fired Gerard Mayo after only 1 year on the job. New England pivoted quickly to Vrabel, the former Titans head coach and former Patriots player who'd been inducted into the team's Ring of Honor months earlier and seemed like the perfect fit. And he delivered immediately in a way nobody, not even the most die-hard Patriots fans, could have predicted. Vrabel took a team that had gone 4-13 in 2024 and led them to a first-place finish in the AFC East with a 14-3 record. That 10-game turnaround matched the highest in league history. The two previous teams to do it were the 1998 Indianapolis Colts and the 2008 Miami Dolphins. New England's resurgence was aided by second-year quarterback Drake May, who led NFL quarterbacks in several categories in 2025. The numbers told a story of dominance. The 2025 Patriots notched a 10-game win streak, from weeks 4 to 13 while never seeing consecutive losses, and didn't lose a single road game during the regular season, leading them to win the franchise's first AFC East title since 2019 and the conference's number 2 seed. Then came the playoffs. During the wild card round, the Patriots defeated the Los Angeles Chargers 16-3, advancing to the divisional round. It was their first playoff win since 2018. Vrabel also earned his second trip to the AFC Championship game as a coach, after defeating the Houston Texans 28-16. During the AFC Championship game, the Patriots defeated the Denver Broncos on the road 10-7, advancing to Super Bowl LX. Vrabel became the 8th head coach to reach the Super Bowl in their first season, and the second person to reach the Super Bowl as a player and as a coach, after only Gary Kubiak. The narrative was storybook. The prodigal son returns home and immediately takes the franchise back to the promised land. Vrabel was named AP Coach of the Year for his work in 2025. However, Vrabel couldn't finish off his strong year with a Super Bowl win, as the Patriots lost to the Seahawks 29-13, losing the Super Bowl stung. But nobody in Foxborough was second-guessing the hire. Vrabel had established himself as a culture builder, a tone setter, a leader of men. Players raved about him. Stefon Diggs said after the AFC Championship game, "Our coach believed in us. He helped us build this identity that he speaks of. He held everybody to the same standard. Something I'm super thankful for. I realized that it starts at the head. When you hold everybody to the same standard, and you hold everybody to the same requirements each and every day, you hold your teammates accountable." The camaraderie and the team chemistry that he built from the head coaching position is second to none. That's who Mike Vrabel was to the New England Patriots. That context matters, because what happened next tested the very foundation of accountability he had built. After 2 weeks of silence following the initial photos, Vrabel finally spoke. After maintaining silence for 2 weeks, Vrabel finally addressed the situation on Tuesday, April 21st, 2026, just 48 hours before the 2026 NFL Draft. 2 Patriots players were scheduled to be made available to reporters on Tuesday, but Vrabel said he wanted to speak before they did. He also said he didn't want the interest in the post photos to take attention away from the NFL Draft, which begins Thursday. When he did speak, the language had changed dramatically from laughable. Vrabel told reporters at Gillette Stadium, "I've had some difficult conversations with people that I care about, with my family, the organization, the coaches, the players. Those have been positive and productive. We believe that in order to be successful on and off the field, you have to make good decisions. That includes me. That starts with me. We never want our actions to negatively affect the team. We never want to be the cause of a distraction." While he did not go into the specific details of his relationship with Dianna Russini, he repeatedly used the word accountability, the same word that had been the bedrock of his entire coaching philosophy. The same word his players praised him for embodying was now being turned inward. But the story didn't stop there. Then came the devastating second wave, after photos were published of him and NFL reporter Dianna Russini at an adults-only hotel in Arizona earlier that month. A new set of photos from 2020 were published on Thursday on page 6. In photos dated March 11, 2020, at Tribeca Tavern, Russini's legs appear between Vrabel's as he holds her arm, with what seems to be his wedding ring visible. In another photo, Vrabel seems to lean in to kiss the NFL reporter. These new findings follow photos that emerged in late March, showing the 2 married industry insiders holding hands and hugging at the Ambiente Resort in Sedona. An eyewitness from 2020 gave a blunt description of the interaction to the outlet. When the photos were taken, Vrabel had already been married to his wife, Jen, for over 20 years. Russini would go on to marry Shake Shack executive Kevin Goldschmidt about 6 months after the photos were taken. This was no longer a single incident that could be explained away. The timeline now stretched back 6 years, from when Vrabel was coaching the Tennessee Titans, well before he returned to New England. And the internet was doing what the internet does, digging. That timeline sent social media users digging, and what they found has made the rounds. In August 2021, when Russini had just welcomed her first child, she posted a tweet that read, "Keep looking at my almost 4-day-old son Michael," while trying to figure out who are the best Michaels to ever play and coach in the NFL. The tweet was posted at 3:51 a.m. on August 11, 2021. Her firstborn son is named Michael. Given everything that had surfaced about the alleged relationship, the name choice and the framing of the tweet drew massive attention online. The drip, drip, drip of revelations turned what had been dismissed as laughable into a full-blown crisis, not just for Vrabel personally, but for the entire Patriots organization. Heading into what was supposed to be a triumphant draft weekend, the 2026 NFL Draft was held in Pittsburgh. The draft takes place from Thursday, April 23, through Saturday, April 25. It was supposed to be a celebration for the league. Teams would make their picks, fans would cheer, and the football world would turn its attention to the future. For the Patriots, the draft was significant. New England holds 11 total selections, beginning with number 31 overall, coming off a Super Bowl appearance. This was about adding the final pieces to a roster that had already proven it could compete at the highest level. The war room should have been buzzing with energy, with Vrabel at the center of it all. Instead, everything blew up on the eve of the draft. On Wednesday night, April 23rd, Vrabel released a statement through ESPN that sent shockwaves through the football world. Patriots coach Mike Vrabel won't be with the team for the third day of the NFL Draft Saturday. As I said the other day, I promised my family, this organization, and this team that I was going to give them the best version of me that I can possibly give them. In order to do so, I have committed to seeking counseling starting this weekend. This is something that I have given a lot of thought to, and is something I would advise a player to do. If I was counseling them, I have always wanted to lead by example, and I believe this is what I have to do, to be the best husband, father, and coach that I possibly can be. This is not an easy thing for me to admit, but it is one that I know will make me a better person. I appreciate the support that everyone has given me and promise a stronger resolve as a result. According to ESPN's Mike Rice, Vrabel plans to be with his family outside of Massachusetts over the weekend. The coach told reporters Thursday he could be away from the team for longer. Think about that for a moment. The coach who had just engineered one of the greatest turnarounds in NFL history, the man who had preached accountability and good decision-making from the moment he walked through the doors at Gillette Stadium, was now stepping away from his own team's draft to address personal failings that had become public in the most humiliating fashion possible. The Patriots organization released a statement of support. The New England Patriots fully support Mike Vrabel's decision to prioritize his family first, as well as his own well-being. Mike has been open with us about his commitment to being the best version of himself for his family, this team, and our fans, and we respect the steps he is taking to follow through on that commitment. We are confident in the leadership and communication Mike has established with our personnel staff throughout this pre-draft process. While he will not be present at the facility on Saturday, we know the draft evaluations are complete, and Elliott Wolf and his personnel staff are prepared to execute our draft as planned this weekend. Vrabel said he will still be in contact with the Patriots on Saturday for the final day of the draft, but he expressed confidence in Executive Vice President of Player Personnel, Elliott Wolf, and Vice President of Player Personnel, Ryan Cowden, to lead the draft room. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell was also asked about the situation on Thursday before the NFL draft, but noted it was not a league matter. The NFL said last weekend that it is not investigating Vrabel's behavior. Meanwhile, as Vrabel's personal crisis dominated the conversation, the actual draft was happening. The Raiders selected Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza, #1 overall in the 2026 NFL Draft on Thursday night in Pittsburgh. The Heisman Trophy winner had been expected to be the top selection for months, after he led the Hoosiers to the College Football Playoff National Championship and a 16-0 season. Teams were making picks, trades were going down, and the league machinery was grinding forward, all while one of its most prominent coaches was publicly reckoning with his personal life. The Patriots hold 8 picks on Saturday, including 4 in the 6th round. That means Elliott Wolf and Ryan Cowden were running the show for the bulk of New England's selections, without their head coach in the building. The verdict: was Vrabel actually fired? So here we are. The title of this video asks whether the Patriots owner officially fired Mike Vrabel live during the NFL Draft. Let's look at the facts. Despite Rossini's departure from her job, there have been no indications that Vrabel's job could be in jeopardy. That's from NBC News. Not speculation, not rumor. A direct statement that no one inside or around the organization has suggested Vrabel is being let go. The Patriots' own statement made their position clear. They fully support Mike Vrabel's decision to prioritize his family first. That's not the language of an organization preparing to part ways with its coach. That's the language of an organization trying to protect its most valuable asset during a PR crisis. Vrabel himself said, "I care deeply about this football team, and I'm excited to coach them. I also know that I'm going to attack each day with humility and focus, and what I can promise you is that my family, this organization, the team, the staff, the coaches, everybody, our fans, most importantly, will get the best version of me going forward." Those are not the words of a man who has been fired. Those are the words of a man who expects to be on the sideline in September. Robert Kraft did not fire Mike Vrabel during the NFL Draft. What happened was arguably more dramatic. The coach who built his entire identity around accountability and decision-making had to publicly admit he hadn't lived up to his own standard. He had to step away from one of the most important weekends of the football calendar to begin addressing personal issues that had become impossible to ignore. We're clearly at the point now where both Rossini, by resigning from her position at The Athletic, and Vrabel, by telling the public he's getting therapy, have acknowledged that something more than innocent hand-holding between professional acquaintances was going on at that resort, but neither have said so directly. The irony is thick. The man who hung a sign in the Patriots meeting room that read, "Make great decisions," had to confront the consequences of his own. The counseling is apparently a step Vrabel is taking to improve himself, but also save his marriage. Vrabel and Jennifer have been married since 1999. In 2024, they celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary with a trip to Italy. The couple met while both were student athletes at Ohio State University. So no, Mike Vrabel was not fired, but the optics of the reigning coach of the year being absent from his own team's draft, with his personnel staff running the war room without him, while photos of him with another woman flood the internet on the very day the draft begins. That tells a story just as compelling, and in many ways more damaging than a firing would have been. A firing is clean. It has a beginning and an end. What Vrabel is dealing with is messy, ongoing, and public. And the question that lingers isn't whether Robert Kraft will fire him. It's whether the foundation of trust and accountability that Vrabel built in one miraculous season can survive the weight of what has been revealed, whether the players who praised his standard will hold him to the same one, whether the fans who celebrated his return will continue to stand behind him. The timing of his separation from the team suggests the situation is dire and needs immediate attention. The Patriots also just started their offseason program this week, and that will continue next week, possibly without Vrabel. The 2026 NFL Draft will be remembered for Fernando Mendoza going first overall to the Raiders, for trades and steals and reaches. But in New England, it will be remembered as the weekend Mike Vrabel wasn't there, and everyone knew exactly why.